Chapter 17, 5:10 a.m.
Upended.
Wow. The first fucking word, and I can't read. The upended submarine continues to sink, slowly but surely. A long, long journey to see the bottom of the sea. Lynn and the little lady found the darkness and the salt water closing in on them, but at the very last second, something saved them. Now it looks down at them quietly. My head is filled with one giant question. What in the world is this thing?
Hi. Oh. I am known as the Magnet Warrior.
Nope.
Well, obviously not.
Hell?
Welcome back, everybody, to the SpiffyNeedleGeeks playing Ghost Trick. It's Brawl Fan 1, Supersonic 407, RoushutsuRises, and now the finally returning PlatinumRhythm.
Mm-hmm.
I see you managed to survive, Detective. Hey, you're... Excuse my appearance. I seem to have lost my body. It's the manipulator.
Oh, God.
Oh, and you there.
Spotlight!
You're the ghost who's been saving Lynn all evening, aren't you? You knew about me all along? Of course. What else would explain all those unnatural things happening? If you knew, how come you didn't do anything about it all this time? And how come you decided to save us all of a sudden? I thought you wanted to get revenge on us. I don't really know. Please, you gotta tell me! I need to know. Who in the world are you? Sissel, look at you! What happened? I can't hold that image of myself any longer. You can't remember who you are? That's right. Remember, guys. Remember what Ray said. Once dawn starts approaching, Sissel would disappear forever, and it looks like
I remember that.
He's losing power now.
Fuck.
I came all this way tonight, trying to chase down my lost memory. For quite a bit of tonight, I thought I was you, Sissel. Sissel? My name isn't Sissel. I bet you'll really remember. I bet you'll remember really soon. Who you are, and who I am, too. What? The man in front of me is not me. I'm even further away from the truth. Or maybe not. Something is stirring in my mind. A memory about to emerge. Do I know this man? Now that I've shed my image of myself, I feel like I'm one step closer to the truth. Get her all comfy. They got us good. It's all over for this submarine. Its engine room is destroyed. There's a hole in the hull. It's sinking as we speak. What are you doing here? I thought you had a deal with those people. They betrayed me. I was a fool to trust them. They already have what they wanted now. The Temsic fragment. I didn't know how they had it all figured out. You mean they figured out the source of your powers? Yeah, that meteorite's radiation has two effects on living creatures. It gives power and time. If you don't mind, we'd like to hear more. These 10 years, I've been watching that junkyard superintendent do his research. and I think I've got some of it figured out. The meteorite's radiation gives spirits special powers, like possessing and manipulating objects. And in my case, swapping objects! Exactly. Apparently there are individual differences in powers we get. And it seems these powers change as time goes by. They do? Yeah, my powers changed over these past 10 years. At first, I can only manipulate small living creatures. Now then, how do you suppose we got these powers? It's simple. It is? How then? In a nutshell, we died while exposed to the energy emitting from the meteorite. Its radiation. That's what does it? Dying while being exposed to the radiation? On that day, 10 years ago, a fragment of that meteorite pierced my heart, and I died. So of course I received special powers. Hey, wait a minute! Is that how I got my powers too? You know, you might be right. Fuck you. Aren't the Temsek remnants still right there in that park, at the bottom of its crater? You're right. So that must mean I must have died in the presence of the meteorite's radiation too. Another effect the meteorite's radiation has on us is that it gives us time. Again, I think this time effect is centered around the theme of death, but it's not all that clear. So the fact that I can return to 4 minutes before a person's death is another effect of that meteorite? One of the characteristics that meteorite is its ability to replay the moment of death. Replay the moment of death? Ah, this is all so strange and confusing, I can't take it in! It makes about as much sense to me as anything else! Poor Missile. Yeah, strange and confusing. And that just about sums up the object that pierced my body that day. Thanks to that meteorite fragment, my very existence is a contradiction. What do you mean? That day, when the fragment pierced my heart, I lost my life. However, because it remained inside of me, that fragment continued to constantly regenerate my body. In other words, my body was continuously cycling between the moments that separated my life and death. What? My body's vital functions stopped 10 years ago, but my body's time is perpetually stopped at the moment just before death. Time just stopped, huh? So I simply existed, not really alive, but not really dead. That pretty much sums up these last 10 years for me ever since that incident in the park. My body hasn't aged a day. My hair hasn't grown an inch. Come to think of it, that old pigeon guy mentioned something. He said he couldn't cut this guy's body with a scalpel. So I guess as soon as an incision was made, his body would be regenerated. Wow. Before I left this country, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to get revenge on the people who stole our lives. Our lives? As part of the deal, I made those guys promise to cooperate. Cooperate? You mean the kidnapping? It all went fine. I manipulated the Justice Minister and made him issue the execution order. But I thought he might call off the execution at the last second. So that's why you wanted his daughter kidnapped. But they kidnapped the wrong girl. Little did I know. They had their own reasons for cooperating with me. Huh? Their objective was to wipe out everybody who had to do with the Temzek. Detective Jode was one such person, so they were happy to cooperate. Inspector Cabinella and that junkyard super, they were slated to be wiped out too. And, as it turns out, I was one of their targets as well. So they stole my Temzek fragment, and here I am. But they had one more final target. You, Detective. Me? If you weren't there in the park that day 10 years ago, I never would have thought of doing something as stupid as taking a hostage. Oh, okay. But I was just a little kid playing in the park. Yeah, I know. Huh? 10 years later, you've become a detective looking into Jode's case. Tonight, I invited you to a quiet spot on the edge of town. It was a trap, you see. I told you who I was. You never saw my face that day 10 years ago. So of course you didn't recognize me. I took possession of you to make you shoot me. Your subconscious resisted me. Such incredible power. It was the first time I wasn't able to fully control somebody. The aim was off, and the first shot missed the mark. The junkyard was equipped with security cameras. I knew you'd be wanted for murder. That was my plan, anyway. But they had other ideas. They simply wanted you wiped out. But then, something threw a big monkey wrench into their scheme. Moi. I showed up. I was supposed to meet up with them after that. But then something went wrong. What happened? My body disappeared. Aha. The inspector in white was responsible for that one. My precious bargaining chip was in that body. I had to get it back no matter what. That inspector caused me no end of trouble. But why were those people targeting me? I never even heard of the Temzek meteorite. Because you were looking into the Jode case. They thought you would find out about Temzek sooner or later. Whew, what a bombshell. Oh yeah, that's right, a sinking meteor. And that's pretty much the whole story. The only thing left to do now is to wait for the water pressure to crush us, to crush the submarine. Oh no. There are no cores that link here to the water's surface. I have an idea. We hook up the phone line and... There are no communication cables down this deep. They meant for this submarine to be my coffin. A coffin for the dead. There's no escape. I think I kind of understand now. What you've been feeling these 10 years. You what? This feeling, cut off from the world, all alone in a submarine, sinking slowly towards the bottomless end of an endless sea. This must be how you felt all along. Lynn? Camilla! Is it true? We're stuck here? What? Oh, If my dad was here, I bet he'd save us. Oh, Camilla, I'm so sorry! That's funny. What is it, Sissel? There's something I don't understand. Why would they go through all the trouble of detaching the control room? What? Why didn't they just steal the Temsic fragment and escape, if that's what they wanted? Why did they have to jetson your body off into the sea? That's a good question. But I guess it doesn't matter why now. We'll never find it again. We have no idea where it was launched to. Wait a minute! Yes, we do! This will tell us where Detective Jode is. That present from the inspector in white. That's right, Detective Jode told me to hold on to it for him. And the bullet is still in this person's body in the command room, right? Then we should be able to tell exactly where it is with this. But even if we find out where it is, how do we get there? We should be able to figure out something between the three of us. With our powers, right, Miss Lynn? Right. Oh, and wait a minute. What about a torpedo? A torpedo? In any case, it's way too early to give up. It looks like Detective Jode is our last hope. Come on, let's get started! Alright, so what do you guys think of that? Of all those giant info dumps?
Well then. I mean...
Danny, you still with us? Falling asleep.
I was kind of in awe the whole time.
It's just a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like, it really just kind of, to me, it just kind of comes off like, I know we're at the end, so, you know, there's a lot of last minute things they gotta explain. It's just, there's so much information to keep up with, and they're dumping it all at once. That's where I'm just like, okay, sure, why not?
So his shell is definitely there in that command room, right? Just without the fragment? It's there. Yeah, but I don't know about calling it a shell. Detective Jode's watch will tell us exactly where it is. Right. He said it was a radio receiver, didn't he? There might be still another torpedo on this submarine. If we use it, we can get to Detective Jode. That's a brilliant plan, Detective. You think so? So what are you gonna do? Right on top of the torpedo? Of course not! You guys are going to! Darn, I kinda wanted to see that. Yeehaw! A cowboy hat and a snorkel. Do you want to see me drown?
Wait. Anyway.
So my dad isn't here on the submarine? Don't worry, we're going to get to him right now. Okay. I hope I didn't hurt Lim's feelings. What I said about my dad saving us if he was here. Oh, don't worry about that. Comments like that just roll right off Miss Lynn's back. She's really thick-skinned. Ouch.
Just like most of YouTube.
I'm going to start being tougher too. I want to make my dad proud of me. Miss Camilla. I'm sure your dad is very proud of you, Camilla. Anyway. Grapes!
Well, at least they have food.
Remember, that was the same machine that the
Yeah, the Blue Man group. They were eating the grapes.
Yep.
Yeah.
A torpedo room, huh? There might be another torpedo left there. I'll go check it out. Oh, I get it. You're going to use a missile to ram the control room. Well, I don't know about ram. We don't want to blow up Detective Jode. But something like that. We'll climb up to the torpedo room, too. Up is definitely safer. Okay, I'll see you there then.